Okay, so it's 6:25 on the 5th, and I didn't do that on purpose. And bet your ass there's gonna be whining. I'll guarantee it. This night has been fucking rough, man. I just am exhausted and uncomfortable. It's like I've got like a muscle spasm in my chest. You know what? I'm so excited though that that other thing went away. It was weird because it was just like it kept hurting and hurting when I was trying to sleep for a long time, and then all of a sudden the other day I was sitting there thinking, man, my thing hasn't hurt anymore. It's not hurting. So weird how it even happened. And then how it hurt for so long and so bad. And then it just like went away. You know, this is something too. Because last night I was laying in bed and I was having some pain. And then I was like using, this thought process of, okay, this isn't real. The pain's not real. And I'm going to diminish. This is going away. The pain's going away because this is a hologram and it's all fake. And so I was focusing on that energy like that, and then it was interrupted with the necessity of what it is that pain is showing you. And when you ignore it, you're ignoring mind, body, spirit, because your body is trying to communicate with you something. It's not just, there to irritate you. There's something your body's trying to tell you. And so then I was like, oh, okay. So I got to just, that's part of our life right now is these things, these little whatever pains and stuff like that, because we're in this mind, body, spirit communication, the trifecta. What is that thing too where they call because they say how is it they say it like in religion, the three, like where they do this thing, it's the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. But really, when you break that down, Father would be your higher self, your oversoul, Father, Son, you would be the Son, and the Holy Ghost would be your spirit. So it is this mind, body, spirit connection that is, it's so weird how they're always getting people like, you need to connect to God, but people like don't connect to themselves. They're searching out there for this God character. Somebody give me a God so I can connect to him, so I can figure this shit out. This kind of trips me up. Okay, so Amy sent me a few videos this morning. I always love that. I always love to get the videos. So anyways, different people send me different ones. Because there's somebody who sends me these videos all the time, and I can tell they're like religious. And so I'm not, I'm more anti-religion. I have been, since I was young. And it's been an issue for some people in my world. And so anyways, so this video she sent me, there's a couple I'll talk about. This one, so it's this lady. I've seen her a few times. I've talked about her before. And I don't remember the last thing I said about her because it seemed like it was weeks ago. I know I was living here, so it wasn't like months ago, it wasn't last year. And but I would say it was weeks ago, so weird, even when I was like, I don't know, time and space, everything's fucking weird. That's what I do know. It is a for show. Everything is weird as fuck. But anyways, so whatever she was saying before, I don't remember. But this time, and I don't know what she does. Like I said before, I don't know what this lady does. She works somehow in the spiritual community. But there's so many of these spiritual people who look at themselves as working in the spiritual community. Be like, you got tarot readers. I saw this lady the other day, and she was like, oh my God, there's so many psychics and mediums now out there. Like, everybody. And so she's doing her job. She's going through each one and testing them to find out who's real and who's not. And so which she already did on Thomas. And I think she's saying, but I've heard this before, and it's weird because he had that platform and was the driver of the car thing, but it must be that they gave him information or something. I don't know. But anyways, he's live all the time on TikTok. But so she said, no, he didn't know stuff. And, but she checked with a tarot reader girl, and she said that girl knew stuff. She knew names and everything. She said it was crazy. So she's going through and testing all these people. As many as she can. I guess as many as she can afford. So anyways, but then you got you got all the quantum healers, the Reiki people. I mean, you got a shit ton of people who have been categorized into the spiritual community and part of the healers and the chosen, the light workers, the starseeds. It's a whole shebang. So anyways, I'm not sure what her thing is. But today's video was, and this is another thing, man. And it's weird how this just came after I had this experience this morning where I had this pain going in. I was like, oh, I'm getting rid of this pain. This pain is not real. This pain is not, that stuff. And then this message comes in. So, your body's trying to talk to you. So maybe you might want to listen. I thought you were into that. But anyway, so so her thing is that she had heard about this guy. And she's saying, I don't know if this is right. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad. I'm not saying either or, but this is what is going on. So there's a guy in the spiritual community, and he's charging money for this. And he's teaching people how to get rid of their chakra system. Get rid of the chakra. Just get rid of it. And so it's not a blockage, so you don't have anything there. And so anyway, she was just like, she was just like, okay, I don't know, what that's all about. And so then she was doing a reading on someone, she said. And so she was going and trying to go inside of them, which I don't know what service there is where they're entering your vessel. Like, we're coming in for a landing. And so she's trying to enter this vessel of this lady, and she can't get in. So she decides, well, I'm going to go in through the chakras. And so she's trying to enter through the chakras. So she's starting at the root, she said, and there's nothing there. And so then she's working her way up, and then there's like nothing there or something. And so she says, so I don't know, in the conversation though, the lady says, oh, which by the way, I don't have any chakras. I've already gotten rid of them all. Okay. So then the lady who's doing the video, she says that there was, she said it was like her energy was outside of her going around and around. She said it looked like this geometry going around her, and it was very like chaotic or bubbly or something. All this, like, she said, like if you cracked an egg and the bubbles started coming out of it or something. So she said this is all coming out. And so again, this lady was like, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing or whatever, but after I'd heard that, then this lady comes and she says she's removed her chakras. And so I said in the comments, well, what was she coming to see you for? Obviously something's still wrong. She's coming to see somebody for another treatment of some type. I don't even know what this lady does. And so she comments right away, but she's defensive. You do understand, I'm not saying if this is good or bad. I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you, what was her problem? Why was she coming to see? What is it she's trying to get from you? And that's what I'm trying to figure out. And so she hasn't answered back to that. It's like, what? So anyways, but so what I see about that is, okay, so in the comments, there was people who has said, oh yeah, our chakras were put in us by aliens in order to trap us. Okay. And then there was another comment, and it said, well, you have to release the what's in the chakras in order to heal. And so I was like, okay. I didn't keep reading because I was already like, okay, I know already. Because to me, I think it's kind of strange that people like, we're getting birthed into this, and you think alien monsters are sitting up there, tweaking your body as you're coming into it to make sure you have chakras to contain you. It's like, I think about like a circuit board or something. How does the energy move through the circuit board? And your blockages are your own stagnation, your own energy blockages. And so you are blocking, just like the mind, body, spirit, your body's telling you what it is you're blocked at so you can heal it. And if you're stuck down in your root, in your sacral, you are stuck in, the beginning. You have got a lot of stuff to let go of. And what would you, if you didn't have this system, this circuit board, then how would you be able to maneuver this process? Which, I'm not on board with this, alien monsters and demons, and they're, interfering and doing that, because we come here free will. We move through the heavens. We are not being chased through the heavens by these dark monsters that are trying, we're coming into their realm. We're entering into their world. And it is like, so we can learn from them, so that we can have this opportunity of learning. And then also, I'm sure, whatever through their experience, there's some kind of growth to it. If the growth is just the movement of the energy and using the energy as while we are learning from it, then that's still an expansion to the universe. But so in your own circuit board, then it was like, well, what if you move the chakras, if that was even possible, and you just took them out, then to me it would be like, what would your energy be moving through? It seems like it wouldn't be a smart thing to do if you could do that, like dismantling the circuit board, and then your energy, you're like losing some of your energy. And then it's not giving you direction. Where's your communication over what it is you need to work on? Like mine was clear when I was going through my healing. It was clear when I got up into my heart chakra. It was real clear when I got into my throat chakra. And then when it moved into my crown, which I already was open, I already had been using telepathy and talking to these other beings since I was a really little kid. And so her talking to myself, whatever people think it is, like there's somebody fucking communicating. And which, in my understanding, there's a whole fucking universal consciousness that we tap into and that we communicate through. So anyways, I've been doing that since I was a little kid. And but on the mind, body, spirit thing, then and it's kind of like, because there's you, and then there's you going into class and what it is that you need, and your body is a part of your learning. It's there to teach you, contain you, and signal you. Like it's there to communicate to you in regards to it's like a spaceman, what we grew up thinking about, a spaceman going into space and needing the suit, or going into the water, needing the suit. And then if you did that without the suit, it's like, well, you need the suit. You need the thing. And that's what this is. To me, that's how I look at it. And your avatar is your spacesuit. It's the suit that you came in to experience this reality. And there's certain things that aren't so fun about it. But it is, it's the It's the suit. The tire. It's what we go through to experience in. And so, and it has, it has a circuit board. And the circuit board, it puts you into what it is you need to work on. And it holds you like there's a stagnation. It's the energy's not moving smoothly because you've got a stagnation. And so your body's showing you that there's something you need to work on. And so then it's up to you to communicate with your body and start trying to understand what it is that you need to work on so that you can release it and move up through release that stagnation so you have a better current. And so, what that didn't surprise me when she said that it was like our energy was like outside of her, like she wasn't getting to fully access all of her energy. It was just hairy scattered, because your energy is pulsating out of you. But and to me, it's like, well, and this person is like, well, you release your chakras when you heal. I think it's not so much of like, well, you don't need that chakra anymore. It's still like, it's like a free flow of the circuit board. It's like everything's running smooth. When you heal things at the stagnation, you clear the stagnation, then it starts moving smoothly. So your energy is moving smoothly, which gives you a better frequency. It gives you a better vibration. And so you get back into like where, say you're looking at an orb and you see all these colors dancing, and then if they were to get stuck, and it was stuck at a color, then it was stuck at this color, then it was stuck in that, then I would say, that's a clogged chakra. But see, they don't have that chakra system in your orb form. You're not carrying around this system. You come in, and it's like, okay, let's go in and do a check. Let's go in to this vessel and then plug in, and then, then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, this energy is kind of stagnant. And so how do I increase my vehicle to be able to be running smoother? And it's emotional. It's like you got to release emotions in order to get get your body on board to what's running smoothly. And then, when you're ignoring it and you're not working on your circuit board, then you become stagnant, and you become diseased, and you become depressed. You become less efficient. Your body really starts expressing, hey, you got a real problem here. You need to start paying attention to me over here. And so so it continues to get worse. Doesn't get better. It gets worse. And it will just keep compounding and to the point where then the universe will start, like, you're still ignoring it. The universe will make sure you get in a crash. So you're stuck. You can't get around. You can't go anywhere. You're going to stay focused. So it's always, there's like an extra assist program that continues to happen when you aren't on board, when you're not paying attention. And so, and then for people that think like, well, you just got to get rid of the chakra. Well, it's like, well, I think you got to heal. Where's your monitor then? Where's your gauge? How are you going to know what it is you got to heal? Where is it? If you just got this energy all like, woo, going, then how are you going to know? Because that's not efficient. That would not be efficient. And so, I don't know. When you see these people coming out with some of these far-fetched things, it's like, and you got people just jumping on board. Oh yeah, just get rid of my chakras. Well, I don't even know how you would do that. And I wouldn't want somebody coming crawling through my vessel and dismantling it. Like, that to me sounds like some alien bullshit. Like, especially in this realm. It's like, I don't know that is the best thing to do. And some of these, aliens, then they have a higher technology, and maybe they do know how to enter your vessel. Maybe they do know how to, we'll just get rid of this piece and that piece, and we'll just be in here and make it easy access. And then you are more stuck in the realm because now you have taken all the things out that were there to help you be able to dismantle the stagnation or the broken parts of yourself. So I don't know. I would definitely not be going and jumping on board with some of this stuff like, well, yeah, my chakra system's a real problem. You know, it really is always telling me I've got problem here and problem there. It makes me have, issues. And which, by the way, even having a lot of problems with your throat is a sign that you've got throat chakra issues. And having problems with your heart is a sign that you have heart problem issue or heart chakra issues. So then that's why I say it keeps getting worse. It goes into disease. So you have to, that's where you spend time in reflection, meditation, or something like that. So you can go into your communication with your body and your higher state of consciousness, your mind, body, spirit, and start trying to figure out, what's going on, what's the blockage, whatever, and that's where you got to be more tuned in to the spiritual side of life, because it's deeper than just this life. That's another, that's another obstacle people have. They think they're just fixing this life. It's like, no. And the people you got problems with, you've been carrying these problems from life after life after life. It's like, this is your opportunity to purge out, get rid of this karma, get rid of this entanglement, to move through it, move out of it, let go of shit. And there's always shit to let go of. And it comes into your mind. Like last night when I was awake for however long, it's so crazy too, because I'll be just conked out and then wake me up and then I'll just be laying there like, fuck. And the stuff that was coming into my mind, and it was like, I want to get rid of this stuff. And then it's like, well, this stuff is there, I mean, don't you think maybe you need to be thinking about this stuff if it's coming into your mind? And it's like, and it starts showing you kind of like, when there's something coming in and you have this certain reaction to it, then it's like, oh, I still have a problem there. I'm still holding on to something. I'm still, angry about this or angry about that. I still want to repair this or repair that. And there's so much about it is learning how to let go, learning how to let go of things. And we hold on to things. We hold on to resentment and anger and anger at ourselves. We hold on. And that is what, the system is there to help us, let go and break out. And so, yeah, this is like, I don't know, because I don't, we don't even have a linear past. It's just, channels of space-time. It's different, things happening. And so, and in this thing, and that doesn't mean in all things, or not just one or two things or whatever. Maybe there wasn't the same system. Maybe it wasn't a whole chakra system. Maybe it was like a new plan, like, hey, let's put these energy pockets in there so then they can read their energy as it's going through. And then a bunch of people are like, hey, yeah, let's try that one. It's not like they're going to the, we're in this world, they do science without our awareness. They are they are doing a lot of stuff. But coming into this world, you know what the fuck's going on. You know what your storyline is. You know what the hell's going on. So when you sit there and you feel like, well, I don't know, that's when you create your victim mentality, because you are on board coming into this for all of this bullshit that you go through. You're on board for it. You come in to experience it, even though it seems like, what the fuck would I want to experience this for? Because there's a whole process. There's a process to reliving things and going through them and letting them go through, I was seeing it clearly just a second. Going through experiencing and because the increasing your perspective, so it gives you more ability to see more, because the more you go through, you don't go through it in the same way each time. You go through it in all different ways. That's even the process behind this whole thing with reincarnation, is you go through and you play different players all the time. You know, you play your mom, you play your brother, you play your sister, you play your boss, you play your uncle, you play all these different players throughout different lives, so that you get this view from every direction. And that is when you start evolving and getting to the point of having compassion and empathy, because you start pulling those things forward as you're healing your resentment and anger, and you start having compassion and empathy for the other people. That was one thing too that I reminded myself this morning of somebody who I was like, it was kind of irking me, and he's remembering. And then it was like, you got to remember that they're broken too. They're in their own struggle. And so, you know, you got to let go. What are you going to hold on to anger for somebody who, you know, like, they don't know what the fuck they're doing? None of us know what the fuck we're doing. I was getting angry at my own self, thinking, what the fuck would I do that for? Because there was a lot of things with number 3 where it was like I was picking, like if you were coming from the kid's perspective, I was picking that person over this person. And this is the thing, is it's coming, you know, you have all these different perspectives, but there is that perspective. And the thing is we got to remind ourselves that we're shooting from the hip. You know, as we're going through life, we don't have, it's everything is by looking backwards. And so many times, you know, you look back, oh, I wish I would have done that different. I wish I would have done that different. If I could do that again, I'd do it different. Yeah, but that is the part of the learning. But when you are in the experience, you have no idea what the fuck you're doing. You're just guessing, like, fuck, I don't know what the fuck. What do I do? What do I do? How do I maneuver this situation? And they're complex. They're complicated situations. And so then we don't want to beat ourselves down. And we also don't want to just build ourselves up in egomania, you know. But there is, you know, the whole thing of like, when you're going through stuff, hard stuff especially, you have no idea what you're doing. You're just guessing, like, what do I do here? What do I do there? And even when you have guidance that you are in communication with, because I've already gone through this shit. Even when you have guidance and you're in communication with, they don't just sit there and walk you through it. You're here to experience it. You're here to figure it out. You're here to bring light to this experience for all of the universe. So they're not going to just tell you like, oh, do this and then you won't have that happen. Do this, you won't have that happen. No, they're sitting there watching too. They're just trying to cheer you along like, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. You'll be okay. Love yourself. It's fine. So they aren't trying to make you not have problems. They're not trying to help you escape your problems. They're here to support you through your problems. The same thing as that Footprints poem, you know. It is like at that time they were carrying me, you know, because that's what it is. They aren't going to keep you from going through the problems. That would be interfering in the whole network of things. Like, and when you came out, it would be like, well, that was fucked up. I just went through all that and I didn't even get to learn the lessons. So we have got to go through things, because that is where we learn and we grow. So going through these hard things and not knowing what to do, and then making choices, and then looking back and going, well, was that a good idea? Well, I don't know. And because there is no right or wrong. There is no way to be like, well, that was the right thing, because it's not right for everybody. Because you got millions of perspectives coming in at you. So it's never going to be all right for everybody. It's going to be right for them, wrong for them, wrong for them. It's going to be an assortment of things. And that is even when you go into your life review. What would be the point of the life review if it wasn't about looking back on things and learning from them? And so use that opportunity through life. You know, look back on the things you've done. Look back on your mistakes. Be like, would I do that again? You know, well, you know, should I be mad at that person? Should I let go of this? You know, reprocess, keep moving. And that is going to keep your energy, you know, your energy system intact, or keep it working, keep it like stoking the fire of your energy cycle. is using time for reflection, looking back and trying to figure out like, well, was that a good choice? Should I have done that? And not being hard on yourself, because you got to remember, yeah, like I'm just guessing. Nobody was telling me, it was just like, I was writing the code for this one. It's like, you don't have any clue how to do it right or wrong. And you've got so many different people's perspective coming in. You can't please everybody. And oftentimes you're going through life, and when you're going through this healing, you realize I was not ever doing things to please me. I was trying to please them. I was trying to please them over there. I was trying to please that one back there. You're trying to please everybody, but you can't figure out how to please yourself. And so that is a part of the process as well, is to start honing in on what is it you want. You're worried about what they want. You're worried about what they want. You're worried about what they want. You're trying to please them. You're trying to, become something that you're not in order to make everybody else happy, but you don't even know who the fuck you are. You don't know what you want. And so there's a whole process to that. Again, your body is communicating with you. It's giving you feedback. It's trying to give you direction. And again, it can't keep you from going through hard experiences. It's not breaking down when it's not keeping you from going through things. No, you're here to go through things. You're here to experience. You're here to go and have all these experiences with all these people, all these transits, all these people that come in and out of your orbit. You're here for that. And you knew it beforehand. You had it all planned before you came in to have this experience and play this role and go through these things and cause this. Because the cause and effect is the evolution of the universe. It's the growth of the universe. It's like every experience expands the universe. So it's it's not like, oh, well, you have to do it right in order to expand the universe. No, you can do it wrong 200,000 million times. You can do it wrong for 200 million thousand years. You can do it wrong over and over and over. You're still expanding the universe. There is no wrong or right. There's just every opportunity. It's just you yourself will look back and go, well, I shouldn't have done it that way. Well, look at that, sucked. And, but, it really has more to do with finding yourself, and understanding yourself, becoming yourself. And that's the process. And I can't say, oh, well, that was the process of every single lifetime, of every single channel, of every single opportunity you've ever come into existence with, because I don't think it has been. I think it goes through cycles. It goes through cycles where you're blind to the whole thing and you're just the experiencer. And then you go through these waveforms of pulling yourself out of that when you start becoming, it's like an alertness. It's like, man, what the hell am I doing? Why am I doing this? And you start becoming aware of yourself. And then you start spinning at a different speed. And that is the cycles of the universe. I think that's probably what this Kali Yuga or whatever, and it is our energy cycles. So we can go through this and go through this, and then we start spinning tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And then the stage that we're at now is like, if you think about all the other lives and you're just out there willy-nilly going through all these things, killing people, being killed, like all of these experiences, everything, crazy you can experience. It's just woo, woo, woo. And then it starts getting tighter and tighter. It starts getting more uncomfortable. Like, whoa, why am I doing that? What am I doing? Who is this person? And you start questioning and questioning. It gets tighter and tighter. But then it is like this, where we're at now is where we get, it's just like this spring. And that's like this birth, this rebirth of a new existence. So it is this springboard of where it is we're going to go into. And so it is, it's being wound so tight that it's going to burst. And so, and that is, why we have all these people around and all these different, you got people out there teaching you how to just get rid of your chakras. It's like, I don't even know. Like, I think if you're going to pay attention to that, like, I would spend more time paying attention to people who are helping you, like, get rid of your disease than get rid of your system. Like, there's a reason our system is the way it is. I mean, I don't know. That's just like getting kind of extreme to me. So I don't know. Maybe he's our gift from God. Maybe he's the second coming. He's here to teach us how we can. But to me, even this whole idea, this whole concept, these people like, get rid of your pain, jump out of it, go quantum leap into your best self, go all of this stuff. It's like, I think you're missing the point of life. I think you're missing the point of being alive and what it is that you're doing here. It's like you're trying to bypass it all. Why'd you come? Why'd you come in here? If you're just trying to bypass it, when are you going to get out and get comfortable, make an imprint in your seat and start trying to, get with it, get with the program? Why you keep trying to fight against it? No, it almost at some point, it seems like the ones that are trying to fight against it is that our obstacles, Are those the alien creatures we need to fear? Because we are in their realm. Like, they can't come in and play any kind of players they want to play, which in the spooky, scary story lady, so she's told a couple of stories lately where different people have said these stories. One of them was a little girl, and she was 9 years old, and she would go to her grandparents' house, and these other people moved in. And so she started going and hanging out with this little girl. And this little girl was very strange. The parents were strange. Everything was strange. You'd go into their house, and there was no food. It was like a lot of weird stuff. And so one day, something in the conversation, I don't remember why this conversation was going on, but she said she started asking this little girl something, and this little girl said something like, well, we're just here to observe. And she's like, what are you talking about? Who are you observing? And she said, well, we observe everyone. So in this conversation anyway, she was like, okay, well, she didn't just come right out and say, well, we're creatures from somewhere else, or we're beings from somewhere else, and we're here to observe and humans in this process, and we're scientists from a planet far, far away, and we're here to observe and try and figure out, so anyways, after that happened and she had disclosed this, well, the next day they were gone. And so she went and she started telling her grandparents, where'd that little girl go? Or I think her name was Amber or something. Where'd she go? I played with her, and grandparents were like, there's never been anybody living there. What are you talking about? There's no little kid living there. And the little girl's like, yeah, huh? Don't you remember? She came over. You were teaching her how to crochet. And the grandma's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Just like wiped. And the little girl could remember. And so now she's a grown-ass woman, and she said that there has been times that this little girl has come to her in her dreams, and she'll just be looking at her and smiling from across the room or something. And she said it's like to let her know, like, it was real. It was real. It wasn't a part of your imagination. This really happened. And so then there was a guy, and let me think of what his story was, because he was a man. And oh no, it was a woman. It was a woman. And she was at a place. I don't know if it was it was a truck stop. So she was at a truck stop to stop and eat. And so she went in, and it was, there was a bar. And so she went to sit down at the bar. There was a guy who was sitting a little bit down. And so she went and sat there, and the waitress was taking her order and whatever. So this guy starts talking to her. And so she looks over at him. And at some point when she looks over at him, she realizes man, he looks weird. She said it looked like his skin was melting off or something. She said it looked like somebody who weighed 500 pounds and lost a couple hundred pounds. Nothing fit. And he was his skin was falling off or something. So she said he looked really weird, and he moved weird, and he talked weird. And so he kept talking to her, and she was kind of she didn't really want to talk. But then it was okay, well, And then she said he got up and he went to the bathroom, and she said he walked so weird. Her and the waitress were both sitting there watching him walk. And they said somebody said something about, him was weird how he moved or something. And so he comes back and he sits down right next to her. And so she's like, oh, God. So she's just okay. There's no, I'll just talk to him. He wants to talk. And he's asking her all these questions about herself. And she's answering all these questions. So at some point she goes, well, what about you? You're asking me all this stuff about me. What about you? And so he says something. Well, he's just there to observe. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he said, well, I'm just here to observe. And she says something, and she thinks they're like doing this joking kind of thing. And so she says, well, your skin suit's not fitting you very well. And she, they both kind of like chuckled or something, she said. And but he, in this conversation, he said the same thing, that he was there to observe humans. And, and he comes in different bodies all the time. And he doesn't, he's always in different bodies. He doesn't come in the same one all the time. And I think that's where she said, well, this one doesn't fit very well. And they just kind of chuckled or whatever. And then, so anyways, when he was going to leave, he said, well, I'll see you again. And she said, well, how would I know? And he said, give me a quote. And so she said she came up with some Shakespearean quote or something like, I don't know. If somebody said, give me a quote, I'd be like, fuck, I don't know. Let go, let God. I don't know. She said it was, something about man, some quote. I don't know, some Shakespeare quote. And so, they parted ways, and I think, he kind of disappeared into the night or something. And so then 11 years later, she was sitting in Europe in a bar. And so she was somewhere in Europe, and she was sitting at a bar, and this man walked up to her and looked at her dead ass and said the quote to her. And so she's like, what? And so, anyways, so she sent this whole thing to the spooky, scary story lady, which, boy, that lady's got a lot of stories she's doing lately. It's like every day she's like got story after story, which there's a couple of other things going around too. So the whole Amtrak thing, and, the train disappearing. So you got all sorts of all sorts of things. And now supposedly it was found, and people are saying the people don't look right coming off. And now people are talking about that show. It was about just that. A plane disappeared, then it came back, and the people were different. The people, and when the people came back, we had all aged, and they hadn't aged. And I think I've only seen like one season of that show. And so, I really do like the OA. What was that show? There was another show. Somebody I just had seen where somebody said, oh, that's the same person who did the OA. I was like, oh, no wonder. I can't remember it. But I did find a show that I've been watching. I watched I watched all of season 1 yesterday, which they're short episodes, and it's on Prime. It's called Rabbit Fall. I think Rabbit Fall. And it's trippy because it's a Canadian show, and it is, so here in America, everyone in the places where they have, the indigenous people, the tribe people living, that they were all pushed onto reservations. So they're called reservations, or the res or whatever. So they pushed them all into a place. They don't let them just, and they do create their own little towns and their own police and stuff like that. So there is, the reservations become their own little world, their own little village kind of. But so when this is in Canada, and I don't know, how accurate this is, it seems like, but so it's a village. So it's like a little town, but it's mostly indigenous people. There's a few white people. And it's mostly all indigenous people. And one thing about the reservations, like if you know anybody who's been on reservations or is from the reservation, they're very full of supernatural. You can even find some cops that do a show on YouTube from talking about all the crazy things that happen on the reservation, because it's all the supernatural shit. And so, but that's what this show's about. The supernatural stuff in this village in Canada of this indigenous, because one thing is they believe in the supernatural, so there's all sorts of crazy stuff happening. Plus it also has a whole part about all of the women going missing, because that's real true. And they, and I had seen at the end of this one movie where they had given the stats and stuff, and they said that they don't even register or count indigenous women in the census, so it's way easier for them to go missing. And that's the whole thing too. If you have seen the indigenous women out with the red handprint across their face, because it is you know, they've been held quiet about all the women who disappear, and you know, in all of the more melanated groups, the people disappear. Like, I mean, they do have white people disappear too. I mean, they like to hunt them all, you know, they try it all, but they do favor melanated people, and they do try and make, like, you know, that they don't have any right to speak up or speak out or anything. So anyways, there's a whole thing about that. And then they do have that in the show, that all of these women go missing, and it's like, well, you know, we don't know where they are. And it's like, in this new, it's about this woman who has come there, and so she comes from Toronto. Something happened there, and so they were like, well, you know, we're not letting you work here, you can go down here and work at this place. And it's a place where, you know, nobody wants to be or something. And so she goes to work there because it's her last chance or something. And but it is coming to find out that some of the people who talked to her, like there's one elder, and as she walked off, she said, well, it's nice to have you back. And the lady didn't hear, but you knew, like, okay, so she has some kind of ties here. And so now we've found out that she's adopted, and her mother is from this village, and her mother's buried in this village. And so it's just ended with that. So now there's season 2. And so now we'll see what season 2 brings. But anyways, I like it, this show. So if you like supernatural shows, this one, but you know, it's not like, I mean, it's got a little bit of, a little hokiness in it, but still, I like it. So, and it's got this one cop where it's just like, this guy's bad. He's a white guy, of course. And it's just like, he is a bad guy. Yeah, I don't know we still don't know everything about him yet, but yeah. And they've had some things happen with some other guys. It's like, are they going to bring them back as spirit, or who's going to be the next characters that are coming in? So anyways, I'm curious to see where season 2 goes. And it's a bummer too with these shows, because you get all into them, and it's like, then, and season 2 just came out. So then it's like, oh, so season 3 wouldn't even be for a year. By the time it gets to there, I'm not even going to remember anything about this show. It happens to me all the time. It's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't remember anything about the show by the time a year is up. I mean, I can have that happen when a week is up. But I do enjoy it while I'm watching it. So anyways, that show, oh yeah, the spooky, scary story lady. But I do believe that there is beings that come here, and that they are an observation of us. I do think that's true. And was there something else about that? Because there was another one that she told that I thought this was a good one too. And so this girl, she went and she, and this was like in 96, and she got in a car wreck, and she was driving home like 2 o'clock in the morning, and she flipped her car. So she did a bunch of flips. And then she said when she came out of the car, she was laying there, and she was thinking she didn't feel anything. She didn't feel any pain, nothing. And so she thought, well, I must be dying. So she shut her eyes, and then she could kind of, you know, start seeing through her eyelids that it was lighter. And so she opened her eyes thinking like, okay, well, I must be going into the light now. This is what she said. And when she opened her eyes, it was daytime. And she was laying in this field. It was not the same. Her car wasn't there or anything. So she's laying in this field, and it looks kind of different. And so she's like, and she still doesn't feel anything. And she's looking at herself, and she's like, you know, she's noticing she has different clothes on. She said she looked like she was like, had prairie clothes on, you know, like a lot of people, like time clothes, like from people who lived on the prairie. I don't know what to call them. Like the, long dresses and ruffles or whatever. So anyway, she had these clothes on from this other period, and she's laying in this field, and she hears somebody calling Anna. Her name's Kelly. And she hears somebody calling Anna, Anna, Anna. And she's like wondering, like, what's going on. And she said she sees a dog come running through this forest, and this dog comes running up to her and starts sniffing her and licking her and, getting all excited to see her. And then she sees a man coming through the forest, and then he comes over and he's like, Anna, why weren't you answering me? I was calling you and calling you. I've been looking for you. And she's just looking at him like, what the hell is going on here? And I don't remember if she says something or something, but all of a sudden it like snaps into this. She's back at the other one. And so she's back in the field. Her car's crashed. So she's surrounded by ambulances and cops and, sirens. I don't know, there was a whole bunch of ambulances, well, one ambulance, but a bunch of cops, there was sirens and all this activity, and she could feel, she said I was in so much pain. And so she was really tripped out, and then she had to go to the hospital and all that stuff. But so she was like so weirded out about, what the hell happened? How did that happen? And so, and there was different people saying things in the comments and stuff. And I think some were similar to what I was thinking, but it's kind of like, to me, it seems kind of like as you are, especially like if you take up with it, you are living a whole bunch of different lives at once. Like because everything is like going at once. It's not like this linear time that is going like this. Everything is going at once. And so you are out there in all these different roles in different places. It all depends on where your energy is focused on. And we're focused on this one. And it pulls your focus in to this experience. And it takes more abilities, or what some people think you get rid of your chakras and stuff to get your abilities or something, to be able to change your focus and go into other lives. And then when they do bounce into other ones, they get all freaked out. And it's so weird, though, how when these people go into these, the other people recognize them. And so she said that, or I was saying, to me, it's like the space that it was like she was in two spaces at once, and they kind of intersected, and she kind of went back and forth for a minute and then pulled herself back out of it. But to me, it seems like kind of like that. It wasn't just like a portal going in, because she was the other person, and she was recognized by the person. They didn't come upon her and go, hey, have you seen Anna? And so they recognized her as Anna. And in this one, she's Kelly. And so I would say it was her soul, and it had this intersection of energy where they kind of crossed paths, and they kind of merged for a second and pulled back apart. So that's what, to me, it seems like happened. So anyways, but that is what, that is one thing too about this stage, it is, we think of it as like this big landmass or something. It's all over, but really it's just this, these stages of realities. And we, in this world, we are able to move into some of them, but we aren't able to access all of them. But that is the dismantling of the ice wall in the firmament, is the, is the pop that takes us to be able to go into other ones. But but there is some, I don't know if this is older or what, but they're saying that the water has changed directions, and it changing directions is causing the ice wall to melt, and because it's something with the salt or something, so it's causing the ice wall to melt, which I would think the ice wall is going to melt because it's a containment where our vibration is changing the containment. And so that So that is in movement, which also there was earthquake, and I guess it was 8 meters down or 8 down, whatever they measure it, 8 meters, 8 mile, I don't know, and 8 down. And then what I heard when I first heard it yesterday, it was a 6.6. Well, then they started saying it was a 5.9. But in the early morning, when the news was reporting there was a 5.9, they say oftentimes it changes. Well, when I heard somebody reporting about it, it was 6.6. And now the seismograph people or whoever it is in charge of this shit, that they put out a thing and said, nope, that we didn't have an earthquake. Forget it. We've erased it. That didn't happen. So I don't know. There's been a lot of action, movement underground, which some people in the comments were like, they're testing, they're doing something, which they could. I mean, there was a whole point of when there was tens, they were saying they were in the tunnels and stuff. So I don't know. I know that these things are going to happen. I know that the land mass is going to change. I know there's shifts happening, and on the water thing. So then there was this lady, which Amy sent me this one too, and her 4-year-old is in the car with her, and he starts saying there's going to be a big old tsunami that's coming. And she's 4. Like, how does he even know these words? I don't even think I ever heard of a tsunami until that big one happened in India or whatever. So, if it was India, or was it Thailand? It was someplace where it killed like over 100,000 people or something. It was really bad. And I saw the movie about the American couple that was there from their perspective of what happened. And it was horrible. And so anyways, this kid is saying that there's a tsunami that's going to happen. He said the water is going to go way back out, and then it's going to come up. He said it's going to go up like 800 meters and then come out across. And the mom who's driving the car, she's like, well, we live in Kentucky. Don't you think we'll be okay? And he goes, Mom, the whole world's going to get flooded. Do you hear me what I'm telling you? Like, people are going to die. We might die. So anyways, but that goes also with this water stuff. So there is going to be, I mean, we just got to get that in our heads. There's going to be some big dramatic shifts in our landscape. And I don't know. And I also saw this woman, I don't know, it seemed to me that it was somebody from the blue side that was sharing this information because of this one part that it said. So this, I don't know if this woman's a psychic or what she is, who this lady is. I have no idea. But so she had said Donald was going to become, and I guess she said this a long time ago, and she didn't say who it was. She didn't call him by name. She said this rich billionaire guy who is somebody with business, somebody who does buildings or something, that he's going to become the president in 2016. Then she said he's not going to for the next one, but then the next one he's going to be back. And so in 2025, he'll be back as the leader again. And she said in the second year, the first month of the second year, so January, that this big thing happens. And so this is why I think that somebody from the blue side was sharing it, is because they said he's going to be arrested, and somebody in his inner circle is going to turn on him, and the whole world's going to fall apart, which I don't know. And I saw somebody else talking about right now in China and in Japan, they are having a financial, it's going. But, even no matter what the situation, which was, I guess they were like 365 in debt. I'm not even sure what that all is about, but they were in a lot of debt, just like we are. And that they, but when this new monetary system, the other one has to go down. They can't just bring in the one. They have to let the other one fall. And the falling of that system is going to, it's like letting the sewer drain and letting it suck down all of the people who are a part of that system, because that's corruption. It's all built on corruption. And so, and I don't know, what the whole thing is in the other places, but there's a movement or some kind of thing going. In China, I don't know, somebody was saying it's something with the housing and stuff. Everybody gets a house there. So I'm not sure. I just know that they have to have one system fall apart in order to introduce the other one that is going to be the global gold system, where we're all going to be in equality. There's not going to be third world countries. There's not going to be poor. There's not going to be rich. It's just going to be like, we're all just equal. And what energy you put out will come back to you. So if you go and you want to do well and learn and grow and stuff, then that energy will come back to you. If you are trying to take advantage of people and stuff, well, you won't be able to keep going in that direction. The shift will take you in another direction. And so it's going to weed out, the people who are wanting to take advantage anymore of the stuff. And maybe that's when it goes down, it takes that direction too. Like people who really are concerned with, those kinds of ways of being, if they aren't going to be like tipped the other direction. So I don't know, but there does definitely seem like there's a lot going on. And so, and who knows, this little boy didn't say when this tsunami is going to happen, but it's something that we've heard over and over and over from all different people, that the water is going to rise. And then over on the West Coast, it's supposed to rise so much it comes in like, a couple states. And then in the Mississippi, it's supposed to rise so much it takes out a couple states. And then on the East Coast, it's supposed to come in, and not as dramatic as the West Coast, but it's going to come in and take out some places. So the water is definitely going to rise. The water is going to definitely take out highly populated areas. And, a lot of people in highly populated areas seem to be asleep in a lot of cases. And people who are awake are probably part of that grid system in it, because, I don't know, there's got to be people who, are leading people. When shit goes down, people are going to be in utter chaos. There has to be some people who are like, have their wits about them, who are like, come on, let's go this way. We got to go. Come on. There would be people who, and so, they're going to be like heroes and stuff, helping people and getting people to safety. So anyways, however it's going to go down, it's going to go down. And I know, each day it doesn't happen. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It just means we're one day closer to whenever it is going to happen. And, there's no telling when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen, and what succession or and how which domino is going to go and how it's going to go. So, but there's going to be big changes to the planet. And when and however we leave, all we're doing is going into another reality. We're just going into another world and into another experience, which, sometimes it's like, I can't come fast enough, man. Like, God, this one is rough. Man. And, I want to, like today, I swear to God, yesterday I think I gave her the wrong RSO. I didn't realize I had it mixed up. But that one that I think was too strong, and when she's done it before, she's wobbling and falling. But yesterday she was just jacked up, man. And you go up to her and she's like, whoa, whoa. And I was like, oh shit, I think I gave her the wrong RSO. And so now I've got these two that are, I can't tell. And I don't think it's the one, because one of the days I find fucking crazy ass Ruthie over there chewing on one of the tubes. I'm like, son of a bitch. And then I didn't realize that I had that old one mixed up with the new ones. And until yesterday, when everything, I would come up to Stella and she was like jolting. And she's getting up, and she wants to go outside every 2 seconds. She's laying, it's fucking frigid, freezing cold. The ground's frozen. She just wants to go out there and lay. I'm like, you're gonna die. You gotta come in. And I keep trying to get her to come in. She just wanted to lay out there in the cold. And yesterday it was just rough. They didn't ever take a nap, not at all, until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And they ate all day long. Ruthie looks like a lard house right now, which really is funny because my one daughter, who spends the most time with me, she's like, Mom, you've got she is in love with Ruthie. And she's like, Mom, you got a real problem with getting dogs fat. You got to be careful. Don't let her get fat. And so now I keep being like, oh my God, she looks like a real chub. She looks like a real chubster. And, She wants to eat all the fucking time. And she scrounges. Like, I just fucking will eat anything. She's trying to eat this fucking piece of fabric yesterday. I have this piece of fabric over the whatchamacallit, because they get everything so dirty. She's trying to eat that. She eats the toys. She eats everything. And luckily she doesn't eat the wallboard. Even though Stella, I don't know what's up with that. I've got to do something, because Stella keeps scratching this wallboard. And she's got this gouge in it. And she's just scratching it like while she's asleep, because her bed's up against it. But anyways, so I was like, well, you can hear it raining. And I was like, I got to get out there and walk more. I did a few days. It didn't go yesterday. And it's so cold and dreary and ugh. And now I'm like, oh my God, I got to take that chunk and get her out there walking. She's a chub. But I couldn't believe it, how much they ate yesterday. That is all Stella wanted to do. And then I already got up in the middle of the night, and I wasn't going to get up and do it, but her stomach kept growling and growling and growling, and they had eaten all day, like every hour, until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then finally, I guess the RSO wore out, and she conked out, so they all conked out. And so then I was sitting here watching that show, and then at like 7 I went to bed. Then she's like, well, I want to get up now. But then she just wanted to get in bed with me. Like, if I'm in the bed, she wants to be right next to me. She wants to be touching me, just like right now. She's sitting on my feet. And, which I know partly it's probably, well, for one thing, she likes to be the closest to me and protecting me at all times. But the other thing is, too, is when she doesn't feel good, she just wants to be touching me. And we do have this psychic thing going all the time. And, so I did, when her stomach was growling and stuff, I said, oh, do you want to go and eat? And she's like, it's all, her tail's going crazy. So, okay. So we go in there and I feed her. Well, of course, Ruthie, she's got to, and that girl is a vacuum. She's, it's like, girl, fuck. And I've even got one of those slow down dishes. God. She is something. That girl is something. I'll be glad when she's older. I told her the other day, I said, you need to start being a lady. I'll be glad when you're a lady. You're a juvenile delinquent at this point. But she did have an accident yesterday, but really I can take responsibility for it, because all the times we're going in and out, in and out. When we're in this room all the time, she goes over and notifies me when she needs to go to the bathroom. She goes right over to the door, rings the bell, stands in front of the door like, I gotta go. And so I go and let her out to go. And when we go in the other room, so it was the last feeding, so the 2 o'clock. And she goes and chomps down her food as fast as she can, runs over, Stella done, I'll take hers. And she runs over to check on that one. She's running back to hers. She just has to stop, drop, and pee real quick. And I was like, God damn it. But then I was like, oh, I didn't let her go, because normally before we go in that room, I always make her go out and go pee. So I kind of feel like, well, it's my fault. But yeah, she hadn't had any accidents in a lot. She's been doing really good. But I got to be on top of it. But she does do good with this isolated more room, and the way to alert me to be able to go out, and then getting her to be able to do that. So that's where we're at with that. And Crystal had asked about it, so that's what I was saying. So anyways, but yeah, yesterday there was an accident, but there hadn't been one in days and days. And every time when I'll be all of a sudden like, ooh, there hadn't been any accident, maybe we've overcome it, then it's like, God damn it. So she still depends on me to be a part of her figuring out when she needs to go. It's like, girl, you get out there and go. And so, and she does not like to hold it long. She's just like, I can hold it an hour. She can hold it longer, because she can hold it during nighttime. But sometimes she does get up in the middle of the night and want to go. Last night she did get up, I think, in the middle of the night. I'm getting so mixed up on nights and days, and I'm in a conglomerate of just time zone. It's just like, this is just going. Everything's just going. I don't have any idea. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm not at. So anyways, I don't know if, if the sun comes out and stuff, then we may go for a little walk out there. But they really don't like to walk so much on these thorns. And it really does have me like, I don't know. I don't know what is to come. What is to come? Where are we at? We're at the point where she's like, oh, I want to eat. And now I'm feeling like, oh, man, I want to go back to I'm going to try getting back into fasting, and then start going, well, you got this to eat, you got that to eat, you got this to eat. So then it's like, oh, well, do I eat that, or I just give up on eating and just go try fasting again? I don't know. Maybe if I just start doing fasting a couple times a week or something. And yesterday I was like, I'm going to stop putting honey in my tea. I'm going to stop that. I was feeling really chunked up myself. I was like, God, I feel chunky. I don't know if it's just this winter drears or what it is, but anyways, now I'm on my own thing about that. So anyways, I made cookies yesterday, and I know that's what Stella wants in there, and get those cookies. But now, since she hadn't eaten since 2, now it's probably like around 7 or something. What time did I start? 6:25 on the 5th. So it's an hour, so 7:25. What? It's 7:25? It's still dark as fuck out. So 7:25, 7:35, really? How? It's so dark out. There's no light still. Man. Maybe they're just not going to turn the lights on one day. Maybe it'll just stay dark all day. And that's when we're in the days of darkness. And then we're like, well, who's in control of these lights out here? Who's in control? What are they doing? So, I don't know. Whatever happens, happens. I'm on board for whatever. So I'll be glad when something starts rolling. When something starts going. Because it just feels so much like a stagnation. It's like, ugh, everything feels so stagnant to me. Like, just like Groundhog Day. Just repeat. And, anyways, so I know I'm repeating myself. So anyways, back to, what your chakras are there to tell you. They're to tell you, what you got blocking you, what you need to work on, and what you need to let go of. And they don't overwhelm you. You can only go one at a time. And you have to go through one to get to the next, and you have to unload whatever's blocking that one. And I can't say, oh, well, you probably have one thing blocking it. It's like, no, you got to figure it out for yourself, and if you find you're still blocked, then you got a lot, you got more things. You got to just keep working on it until all of a sudden it's like set free. It's like, oh God, I feel good. And I know when it hit into my heart, it was very like a vibration. It's like I feel like my heart was coming out of my chest all the time. It's like, what the fuck? And I think that is when I was working a lot on boundaries too, because you have to have love for yourself. You have to have boundaries. You have to take care of yourself. And just like what I was saying, you have to figure out, well, what is it I want? What is it I'm here to do? What is it I'm here to, we get so focused on trying to please everybody. And so a lot of our lessons has to do with figuring out what we want and finding love for ourselves. And finding love for everybody else too. But it is important, it is part of and I do believe that was when I was working on my chakra thing, and that, and working on boundaries was a long one for me. It was a real long one. And I did have people come into my orbit continuously to challenge me on my boundaries. And then there's constant challenges. I mean, it's whole different challenges with your daughter, with a friend, and with your mom. It's like all different challenges. And then there's some things too, even with your mom, is letting go of expectation, what they are expecting of you. You can't just be what somebody else wants you to be. And sometimes, you get to be their disappointment. You get to be somebody that they're like, oh, well, let them be, let them go through their process too. They need to go through theirs, but you can't just try and fix it. You can't become something that somebody else wants you to be. You have the journey is to self. The journey is coming into who it is that you are, who it is that you're here to be. And then you can't bypass the ride. You can't jump from here to there, because who's going to catch you? It's like you are the one who has to be doing the work to get there. And even though there's a big movement in the spiritual thing, is bypass it all. Get rid of the chakra system. Just jump out of that pain and suffering. It's like, well, like I said, I don't know what you think life's for. But we obviously have different perspectives. So, in my perspective, you're here to work on yourself. You're here to learn. You're here to let go of things. You're here to experience, and through that experience, you will begin to carry baggage, and you have different periods of time through the universal time capsule of release. And we're at a period of time of release. So, it's at a period of time of, acknowledgement and seeing yourself and letting go of things and working your way through programming and indoctrination and concepts and how you see yourself. And so I can't think of what that word is. Not self-indulgent, but the way you see yourself. So anyways, in through the process, you got to be very forgiving of yourself. You can't just ride yourself hard because you really don't know what you're doing. Nobody does. And for some people to think like you should, well, that's their problem with judgment. And that's what they need to be starting to recognize is like, God, I'm kind of judgmental. I'm always thinking everybody should be something that they're not. And I'm shaming them when they aren't what I think they should be. It's like, you got to let go of your judgment and let people, be here to experience and to learn. And, tune into your body and what it's trying to help you with and trying to give you signals. So anyways, but to me, it's important to learn how to love yourself, learn how to love everybody else, and learn how to have the day you want to have. It's how you focus your energy is where you're going to find yourself. And and then we'll see what this day brings us. I doubt it's going to be a tsunami today or anything that's going to take over the whole world. I think there's going to be more signs of that kind of stuff coming, even if the ice wall is melting. There's going to be more shaking things up, more earthquakes and volcanoes, I would think would be kind of the precursor before the water pulls out and just comes and engulfs the place. So I don't know. We'll see. That's what we're here for. So we'll see what happens, and then we'll see what happens today, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.